yourself, to show up and be your most authentic self. You can cry here, you can take your time here. To be you is not a crime here. We are all divine here. We shine brighter when we all shine here. We rise higher when we all rise here. We practice being kind here. We celebrate the fact that we are all still alive here. Love, only love is welcome here.
You can make mistakes here. No blame or shame here. There's only grace here. We know you by name here. We've been waiting for you. So glad you came here. We hope you stay here. All that you are can be reclaimed and embraced here. Only love is welcome here.
To show up and be your most authentic self.
Only love is welcome here.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Sasha Ostrom, the minister here at the Morristown Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, and it's wonderful for us all to be here together once more as we gather together for worship, for lifting up that which is of worth in this great common life that we all share. And since today is the Sunday before Halloween, and I see a few costumes out there, some folks already dressed in their trunk-or-treat finery, let's go ahead and start with some special words by the Reverend Christian Schmidt. May they help center our minds and our hearts this morning. No matter who or what you are welcome here. And let's be clear, here we welcome goblins and ghouls, saints and sinners, angels and devils, zombies and werewolves, vampires and witches. We welcome princesses and princes, paupers and farmhands, aliens and astronauts, robots and cyborgs, firefighters and police officers, doctors and nurses, cowboys, cowgirls, and all manner of cowfolk in all varieties. We welcome Superman, Wonder Woman, Black Panther, Batman, Black Widow, and Thor. And indeed, we welcome both superheroes and superstars. In short, we welcome people, monsters, and all other manner of creatures. Here we welcome you and all of who and what you are. So welcome, and come, my friends, and let's worship together.
Good morning. I'm Barbara Castellana-Stasiak, one of your worship associates. Shall we light our chalice now, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist tradition? Who will volunteer to come forward and light our chalice today? I see many people in grand costumes who could come forth and help to light the chalice. All right, here's one. Come on up, Gary. Our chalice lighting words today are by the Reverend Florence Caplow. On this Sunday before Halloween, it reminds us that today we welcome not just those here in this room with us, but also the memories of all those who came before. As we kindle this flame, we honor and remember those who have passed into the mystery. Their brightness lives on in our vision. Their courage lives on in our commitment, and their love continues to bless the world through us. And now, please stand as you're able for our weekly affirmation that was written by James Philip Blake. And please repeat each line after me, which helps our littlest UUs participate, even if they don't read yet. Love is the spirit of this fellowship.
Love is the spirit of this fellowship.
And service is its law.
And service is its law.
This is our great covenant.
This is our great covenant.
To dwell together in peace.
To dwell together in peace.
To seek the truth in love.
To seek the truth in love.
And to help one another. And now, let's stay standing for our opening hymn. And if there are any junior worship helpers who would like to join us up here to help lead our song, you could come up now and bring your gray songbook. Our opening hymn today summons to mind some of the themes of a dark Halloween evening. It's number 46, Now the Day is Over. So good morning again and welcome. And welcome especially to any newcomers, returning members of our community, and anyone who joined us online today. If you're tuning in live on YouTube, please say hi in the chat if you haven't already. We're delighted to have you with us. We're a community of many ages, and we all worship together. You can join us many ways on Sundays, including online, here in the sanctuary, or from one of the many rooms in our building where we live stream the service. In particular, I want to draw your attention to our family room for families with little ones, which is located out our doors and to your right. The family room is especially great if you need a place to talk, soothe the crying infant, or get the wiggles out. Our service is live streamed there, so you won't miss a thing. Kids of all ages are always welcome in all of our services, but we do offer childcare as an additional option for families with small children, ages 9 months to 5 years. Parents, if you find yourself in need of childcare at any point during worship today, please bring your little one to Room A in our Gateways Center. Again, welcome to everyone here with us. We're glad you're here.
All right, who here, raise your hand if you are ready for Halloween. I'm ready for Halloween too. Maybe even for a trunk or treat today. So we often think of this time of the year as a time to wear our favorite costumes, embrace all kinds of things that are spooky, and eat some tasty candy. But did you know that this is also a really good time of the year for us to honor our loved ones who have passed away? This is a time of year when we and many other faith traditions gather to honor our loved ones who have died. And all around the world, cultures honor their dead in late October and early November in all kinds of unique and beautiful ways. You know, some Christian communities observe All Hallowtide, which includes All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day. The All Hallowtide season begins on October 31st with All Hallows' Eve, from which we get the word Halloween, and is a time to honor the faithful dead. And then in Mexico and in some Mexican-American communities here in the United States, people celebrate Dia de los Muertos, which is the Day of the Dead. And we have a Day of the Dead festival right here in Morristown, in fact. Now, if you have ever attended a Dia de los Muertos festival, you might spot some beautiful altars filled with bright orange and yellow marigolds, which is the flower of the dead, and sweets like sugar skulls. And these traditions combine Christian as well as indigenous practices. And at this time of the year, some pagan and earth-centered communities observe the ancient Gaelic holy day, Samhain, to honor departed loved ones, when the veil between this world and the next is believed to be very thin, allowing some communication and visits. And traditions such as these remind us that death is a part of life, and that we can keep the memories of our departed loved ones alive with us by honoring our dead. And so this morning, we have an opportunity to honor our own loved ones who have died. And by remembering them, we remind ourselves that they are still with us, in memory as well as in legacy, now and always. And so on this table before me, there are some photos that some of you brought of your departed loved ones. And the act of placing a photo is a gesture of love and remembrance, a way to honor those who touched our lives and who journeyed before us. And at this time, if you did not bring a photo with you today, but if there's a loved one that you would like to honor, I invite you to speak their name into this sacred space. And let's welcome among us the memories of the loved ones who have passed away with the sharing of their names.
Wendy Kelly.
Jenny Gruber.
Noel Meyer, David Meyer, Jerry Meyer.
Becky Bird.
Tom McCaffrey.
Jerry Silk. Elby York. George Klein.
Judy Harris.
John Peterson.
Michael. Sarah Dennis.
As these names echo in our hearts as well as our ears, and as we look upon these photos here before us, may the many memories that they represent be blessed. May our memories of our loved ones offer us comfort. May the wisdom that they shared in their time with us continue to guide us in our lives now, and may their stories and experiences bring deeper connection and meaning to our own lives. Amen. Blessed be. May it be so. It is time now for our milestones and passages. Sometimes we come to this place on Sundays with a lot on our hearts. Maybe a loved one has died or is sick, or maybe you are celebrating a recent recovery after an injury or an illness or some kind of procedure. Or maybe you have a special joy in your life right now for which you feel gratitude and want to express that. And whatever your age and whatever the joys and sorrows of your own life, and whether you are a member of this community already or you're a newcomer, you are welcome to share it in our service. You can do that by filling out our milestones and passages form before 9 a.m. on Sunday morning. That form can be found in our newsletter, as well as a paper version of the form that you can find on your way in through our doors. We have a couple of milestones and passages to share today that people have submitted, so please respond to each of these by saying, "We hold you in our hearts." And if you are joining us online today, I invite you to participate in the chat. This morning, Steve Parker shares that he is grateful for the more than dozen volunteers who showed up for the Fall Volunteer Work Day yesterday. Collectively, they donated 40 hours of work on our building and grounds. Some of the tasks were behind the scenes, but you might check out the Gaga Ball Pit, which received a new coat of weatherproofing. So thank you, everyone, and we hold you in our hearts. And this morning, Mary Beth Cooney shares the joy that the Creature Comfort Pet Therapy had their casino night fundraiser at the Gateways just last night. And they would like to say a huge thank you to Katie, to the Green Aprons, to Maria, Sergio, and Alex, and most especially to Diana for the wonderful jobs that they did to help make this a rousing success. And the guests could not stop complimenting the beautiful space and how smoothly everything was run. So thank you, and we hold you in our hearts. Let's go ahead and take a quiet moment now for the prayers and meditations of our own hearts, those that are held in the silence of our hearts. This is time we take each week to practice a little bit of meditation, a little bit of deep breathing. So go ahead and let yourself get comfy in your chair. Maybe feel the ground beneath your feet. Take a moment to focus on your breathing, just feeling it moving in and out of your chest. Maybe hear the breaths of the people around you, the quiet rustling of people. Maybe like leaves in a tree. Feel the spirit of life and love holding all of us in this still moment together. And let's take a few deep breaths together and then enter into a moment of silence. Amen and blessed be. And let's go ahead and remain seated as we sing number 95, There's More Love Somewhere, which you can find in your gray hymnal as well as up here on our screen.
There
Today, we have the opportunity to honor not only our loved ones who have passed away recently, but also all of our ancestors, those who came before us from time immemorial, who we may never have met, but who still shaped our lives and our communities. Our ancestors include not just our biological forebears, those whose wisdom and actions have influenced our own paths, our spiritual forebears. Honoring our ancestors is a way of acknowledging our history and our heritage. It connects us to our roots and to the larger story that we're part of, a story that began long ago with those who came before us. On the table with the photos of our loved ones, there is a cloth banner of a tree. It's not just a family tree representing our biological relatives, but an ancestor tree representing all of those who came before us, blood relations or not. The tree is bare right now, but soon we'll make it more vibrant by adding leaves. Each leaf we place on our tree will represent our ancestors. At this time, I invite you all to come forward and participate in this community art project. To help make this go smoothly, please place only one leaf on the tree to represent your connection to all of our ancestors. May this tree remind us of our deep connections to those who came before us and the ways in which their legacy lives on in our actions and values today. Come. We may carry their stories within us, and may these stories guide us as we navigate our own paths. And may this ancestor tree be a symbol for us of our gratitude and our commitment to learning from those who walked before. Amen. Blessed be. May it be so. And now we come to the time in our service each Sunday when we pause to offer our gifts of financial support to this congregation. Your donations make all that we do here possible and also help make our wider community a better place. That's because each Sunday we give at least half of the money we collect to an organization that is doing good work to advance our Unitarian Universalist values of love, justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity, jet pig, in a world that hungers for them now more than ever. Today's offering will be split 50-50 with Table of Hope, which is committed to improving the quality of life of Morris County families and constructing pathways to economic stability, educational excellence, and holistic well-being. You may give in our collection plate or by following the instructions printed in your order of service and shown on the screen. Thank you in advance for your generosity.
And now let us take a moment to honor the ancestors of this congregation, the people who first came together to create a home for liberal religion here in Morristown, who worked to raise money for a building, who sat in committee meetings and created bylaws, who chopped and marinated and baked for potlucks, who painted, who weeded and pounded nails and washed countless dishes, who gathered to worship, to learn, to grieve, to heal, to serve, to build justice, to transform their lives and this world. We are the recipients of an incredible gift and a beautiful vision, so let's do our work, our part, to keep this congregation strong, vital, and thriving for generations to come. And Bob Scott will now tell us a little bit more about our congregation's ancestors, our founders.
It began on May 12, 1955, when Marshall Deutsch, who had recently returned from a church stay in Detroit with his wife Judy, both native New Yorkers, rejected the invitation to join the Church of the Larger Fellowship, which I've heard described as our mail order branch. He wrote back to the Reverend Richard Gibbs that they would attend local Unitarian churches, and he added, "I hope to start a Morristown Unitarian Fellowship." Working through the summer and the fall with the Reverend Monroe husbands, who I call the Pied Piper of the fellowship movement, the two of them and Judy came up with a meeting that was scheduled for October 18th, 1955 at the Morristown Trust Company. It was supported by a very well-crafted publicity campaign, letters to the editor, press releases, telephone calls to prospective members. On that night, October 18th, some 50 to 60 people heard husbands speak on the topic, "Who are these Unitarians?" which addressed the evolution of liberal religion, starting with Socrates, going through Michael Servetus, and on to the Pilgrims. A steering committee was formed that night. It met for the first time on October 23rd. Committees were formed: religious education, finance, program committee, publicity, all the things you need to operate an organization. The first services were held at 8:30 on October 30th, 1955, at the former site of the Morristown YMCA, which would be our home for nearly 2 years. The speaker was Vincent Richards, described as a lay preacher. We don't know anything about his topic except a newspaper article described it as brief. And coffee was served. But by November 13th, a Sunday school director had been appointed, curriculum chosen, religious education classes begun. And before the first person ever signed the membership book on December 18th, they'd also organized a ski trip, published a newsletter, and were writing about the activities of the people who were soon to be members. 31 people signed the book that day on December 18th. The day they also approved the bylaws. And it gets tricky describing what a founder was, but I eventually chose the description used by the founders themselves at the 25th anniversary when they described a founder as someone who joined before the end of February 1956. By that definition, there were 52. A majority were male, 28. 19 of these were in scientific or technical fields. It was a young congregation. Only one member was older than 60. 28 were from 30 to 39, 5 were in their 20s, and 1 was 17. I had the opportunity to meet Marshall, and when I heard him in a telephone conversation say, when I decided to found the fellowship, that was a fact I hadn't heard of, and I ended up driving to their home in Sudbury, Massachusetts to meet them. And I was able to ask Marshall, why did you found this organization? And he had a one-line answer: to have a place for the kids. And that was his driving force, and it was really the driving force of the fellowship at that time. Now, most of these people are gone. And when we talk about honoring our ancestors, not only did they found this organization, but contributions of some of the members affect all of us in our daily lives. If you drive a car, if you use a computer, if you benefit from the use of a medical device, people who invented things that were earth-shaking attended this congregation and helped organize it. There are only 3 left that I know of, 2 for sure. One is Dennis Dalton, now the 17-year-old, now 87, who taught for many years at Barnard College and is a worldwide expert on Mahatma Gandhi. And Judy Deutsch, member number 2, I had the fortune to meet along with Marshall at their home, and then later when they came to our 60th anniversary celebration. She's 96. Last time I emailed her, she was in good spirits. 2 years ago, we did an odyssey with her. She had moved to Arizona after Marshall died and was square dancing and part of the Democratic committee locally. One other probably is alive, Doris Marcia, first wife of Arthur Babson, our third president, and then later married to Albert Thomas, was alive in California in 2019 when her daughter died. And I have constantly dropped into Google and see if there's any notice of her death. And so far, none. That's not a guarantee, but I think she's probably alive. But when we honor these people, they are people who have largely gone on before us. They are people who were, as I said, young, vigorous, and I think can give a lot of people a lesson on how you start an organization. And I think one of my proudest moments in this fellowship was when the Deutsches attended the Sunday of our anniversary celebration, to be able to credit them with the work they had done with them in the congregation. And really, if you look through our records, their names had not been there. Now, celebrations are really hard to do in the fall, so again, we will be holding our anniversary celebration on January 31st here at the fellowship, and anybody's interested, you can talk to me, Nan Perigo, other members of the board, and I certainly welcome any ideas, any questions you have about history, things you would like to know, and we hope to present you with our bicentennial minutes from here on and keep you informed about what these remarkable people did.
Thank you, Bob. Please join me now in a responsive reading by the Reverend Amanda Pape, and you can participate by saying, "This is the home that love made," after each of my lines. So, this is the home that love made. It is full of the love that the founders felt when they planned out this spiritual community that we have all inherited. This is the home that love made. It is full of the love of all who have worshiped here, those who have celebrated and grieved here, the babies dedicated, couples married, and family members mourned here. This is the home that love made. It is full of the love of our children as they learn and laugh together, and our youth as they grow into their own sense of purpose and meaning. This is the home that love made. It is full of the love of the staff who have served it, full of their hopes for this congregation, their hard work, and their acts of dedication. This is the home that love made. It is full of the love of the choirs, the love made so clear in the voices lifted here on Sunday mornings. This is the home that love made. It is full of our love, the love of this community, despite our differences and our disagreements, the love that holds us together as a people. This is the home that love made. Can you feel it? May the love be with us always. Amen. Please rise now in body or spirit. Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. Later.
Although we might not mind getting out a little early, I don't think that's going to happen today. So there is a story that I love at this time of the year. It's an old Russian fairy tale about a spooky night, a creepy forest, and a scary witch. And there are many versions, and mine goes like this. So once upon a time, there lived an orphan named Vasilisa, but although her parents were no longer alive, Vasilisa wasn't alone. Her mother had left her a doll. Not just any doll, though, a magic doll. Now, if Vasilisa fed it a crumb of bread, the doll could talk or even help with chores. And then one day, something happened that made Vasilisa need the doll's help more than ever before. You see, houses at that time didn't have heating systems and light bulbs, so people relied on their hearth fires for warmth and for light. And one day, Vasilisa's fire went out. And Vasilisa held her doll close. She said, "Oh no, it'll be sunset soon and it's already so dark." And then she fed her doll a little crumb of bread and she asked her doll, "What should I do?" And the doll said, "You must go through the woods." to the Baba Yaga's hut and ask for a hot coal to rekindle your fire. But oh no, Vasilisa didn't want to do that. The woods were dark and creepy, and the Baba Yaga was a scary witch. No, she would stay safe in her house. You must go, the doll said. You need hot coals, and the Baba Yaga might need you too. After all, she lives alone like you, but unlike you, she doesn't have a magic doll to help her. Now, the doll's voice sounded so much like her mother's voice that Vasilisa decided to be brave just this once. So she left home and she ventured out into those dark woods. And now and then as she went through the woods, a branch snapped. And each time that happened, Vasilisa cringed. But she continued until at last she saw that hut. Oh no, she said, though ducking behind a tree. She could not go there. The white fence looked like bones, and the hut looked like a haunted house. Look closer, the doll whispered. Now, Vasilisa just wanted to squeeze her eyes closed and see nothing, but she decided to be brave. And so she peeked out from behind that tree. And there in the clearing, she saw a hunched-over figure scraping the ground with a big claw. It's a monster, Vasilisa whimpered. No, it's not a monster, the doll said. Look closer. So Vasilisa crept closer and she looked. And now she saw that the hunched figure wasn't a monster and the scraping thing wasn't a big claw. There was just an old lady raking some leaves with a pained wince. So once again, Vasilisa decided to be brave, and so she crept out of the woods and up to the Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga, ma'am? She asked. She was a little bit afraid still, and the old woman squinted at her through the darkness until she could see the little girl, and she said, "Little girl, what are you doing here?" And Vasilisa, she gulped nervously, and she said, "Well, I came to ask you if you could give me a hot coal for my hearth, but you see, I see now that you are raking leaves. So may I help? I could do other chores too if you need, and my doll can help too. It's magic." And that is very nice of you, the Baba Yaga said. Yes, I would be happy to give you a hot coal, and I accept your kind offer. When it gets so cold like this, my back really aches. So Vasilisa and the doll helped the lady, and in return, Baba Yaga helped Vasilisa, giving her a lantern with one burning coal in it for her own fire. And there you go, the old lady said. Now take it home, and if you ever need another one, just ask me. I'm right down the road. Thank you, ma'am, Vasilisa said, and if you ever need anything, just let me know. I'm right across the woods. I will, dear, the Baba Yaga said with a smile. And when Vasilisa left, holding that lantern before her, the coal burned just brightly enough to light her way through the dark woods. And when she returned home and she used the coal to light her hearth, the warmth in her house soon matched the warmth in her heart after meeting her new friend. All right, so what's the moral of this story for us today as we're approaching Halloween? So in our youth religious education classes today, we are going to be exploring the topic of compassion's call to move outside of our comfort zone. Now, every one of us has a comfort zone of our own. Sometimes those can be literal places like the comfort of our own home, or maybe it can be other things that make us feel safe and comfortable, like maybe certain people in our lives or certain situations. And then we all have things that are outside of our comfort zones, things that may feel as scary to us as those spooky woods or the Baba Yaga felt to Vasilisa. And sometimes in order for us to be able to offer people compassion, or in order for us to be able to receive compassion from others, in order to do that, we have to leave our comfort zone. We have to allow ourselves to be just a little bit uncomfortable. You know, maybe you are at school and you see somebody being bullied, or maybe you're an adult and you see someone being mistreated and, you want to stick up for them. But sticking up for somebody else can be kind of scary. Or maybe you see somebody new, maybe at school or maybe during social hour, And maybe they are looking for friends, and maybe they're a little bit lonely, but maybe it can feel kind of uncomfortable to talk to new people, right? Or maybe you need something, but you're a little bit too uncomfortable to ask for help. So then in order to offer compassion to others and also in order to receive compassion in return, we sometimes have to allow ourselves to go outside of our comfort zones. And the story that I shared offers us 3 insights to help us do that, to help us leave our comfort zones. So the first insight to remember is if you need compassion yourself and you are finding yourself uncomfortable asking for help, remember that we all need one another, just like the Baba Yaga and Vasilisa actually both needed each other in the story. It's natural that we all sometimes have things that we need and things that we have to give. And so there's nothing to be ashamed of or embarrassed about or nervous about there. And when we are willing to let ourselves be vulnerable and to reach out to other people, it can actually help strengthen the relationships between us. It helps us to knit together a more mutually supportive community. So don't be afraid to ask for help or to offer it. Vasilisa and the Baba Yaga were able to connect precisely because they each had a need for a companion and for compassion, but neither of them would have been able to meet that need if Vasilisa hadn't been brave enough to step outside of her comfort zone and brave those dark woods. So another way that we are able to move beyond our comfort zones is by taking a really good look at the things we fear. Remember the doll saying in the story over and over, look closer. So Vasilisa did that whenever her fears made her too scared to reach out for help or to reach out and help. And when she allowed herself to look closer, though, she realized that the scary forest witch was really just a fellow human being in need of compassion and care, just like she was. And so sometimes we need to pause and look closer and examine our fears to see if they are truly justified. If you are reluctant to ask for help, ask yourself why. What is it that you fear? What are the worst things that can happen? But also, what are the most likely things or maybe even the best things that could happen? And if you find yourself in a position where you are feeling a little bit nervous about offering compassion because it requires you to go outside of your comfort zone in some way, maybe allow yourself to look closer at the cause of that nervousness. Sometimes noticing, actually pausing and going, I'm feeling nervous right now, can help us to pause and take a closer look at that fear and then overcome it. All right, and so third, sometimes in order to to answer compassion's call to move outside of our comfort zone, we have to do like Vasilisa did and decide to be brave. So not just be brave, but decide to be brave. Because bravery is not actually a feeling. So bravery, at least not just a feeling, bravery is not being fearless. In fact, in order to be brave, we actually have to be scared. And that's because bravery involves doing something even though we are afraid. Even though we are scared, we're still going to act. And so like Vasilisa going into the scary woods, we are going to acknowledge our discomfort, and then we are going to decide to move forward despite it. We're going to answer compassion's call, even if it's a little bit scary to do so. So my friends, if offering and receiving compassion were always easy, there would be a lot more of it in the world. Compassion requires us to be brave. It requires us to move beyond our comfort zones and to allow ourselves to be its vessels out in the world. So may we face our fears. May we choose to be brave. And may we reach out to one another in love and care, even when it's uncomfortable, so that we can help build a more compassionate world. Amen. And blessed be. Let's go ahead and rise now in body or spirit for our closing hymn. Our closing hymn today is number 317 in your gray hymnal. It's We Are Not Our Own.
Before we close, I'd like to draw your attention to our Minutes for Ministries. This is a time when we share brief updates about our congregation's activities to help us stay engaged with our community beyond our Sunday service. This morning, I'd like to draw your attention to many announcements. Any newcomers with us today are invited to fill out a welcome card to help you get connected with us, and they can be found on the welcome table in our foyer. You can also talk to our welcome ambassador, who would love to meet you and answer any questions. And I think Dory has on the golden sash this morning. Dory, want to just stand out back there so people can see you? Anyone needing a caring presence this morning will find a compassionate listening ear with one of our lay pastoral care associates, and you'll recognize them wearing sky blue sashes. Anyone today? No. We also have a new sash-wearing volunteer role on Sunday mornings. If you have questions about our youth and children's faith formation program, please see one of our faith formation ambassadors in a bold green sash. Back there, Nick. Will today's welcome ambassador for lay pastoral care, well, we've already asked them to stand, so never mind. Our service auction kickoff is less than 2 weeks away, and today is the last day to submit your offerings. We especially need dinners and activities that can be shared with others. Visit our service auction table during social hour to brainstorm ideas, turn in your offerings, or buy tickets for our kickoff party via cash, card, or check. And if you need a ride, we can help with that too. So there'll be someone there to help you make your offering. This upcoming week, join us for some of our groups, congratulation activities, and volunteer opportunities, including our Days for Girls kit makers and adult small groups tomorrow, our starting point class for newcomers on Tuesday, mindfulness meditation on Wednesday, our children's choir and adult choir rehearsals on Thursday, and the celebration of life for Betsy Burr on Saturday, and the Buy Nothing free community swap next Sunday. That's just about every day of the week, something good to do. Today we have a smorgasbord of opportunities for us to enjoy together. At 11:30, kids can participate in our youth religious education exploration classes, and adults can join our drop-in adult discussion small groups, which is exploring our upcoming month's theme of nurturing gratitude. Then, at 12:30, people of all ages are welcome to join us for our Halloween cookie decorating workshop with Mutual Morris. And finally, at 1:30, we'll have our annual trunk or treat in the parking lot. We're asking that everyone move their cars from the Gateway's parking lot by 1 p.m. Happy Halloween. Details about these and many other activities, including dates, times, locations, they can be found on the back of your order of service, our weekly e-newsletter, or on our website at muuf.org. And now I open the mic to announcements from our ministry teams and committees. We will end our announcements soon, so keep them short. And then we'll gather together for a social hour together in the Chu Family Hall after the service.
I've been asked, my name is Marjorie Wormser. I've been asked to augment the wonderful announcement that Barbara just made about the service auction. And it was right here a second ago. I apologize. Basically, here we go. We're going to be celebrating the foods of light at the kickoff. So please join us for that service auction kickoff on Saturday, November 8th from 5 to 8 p.m. Diana Hart, our culinary goddess, will be delighting us with cuisine from 3 different cultures that celebrate light. We'll be celebrating Hanukkah, Diwali, and Korea's Dongji solstice. So please get your tickets. They're $25 now. If you show up at the door, they'll be $30. It's going to be great fun. Please join us. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. Let's practice some self-care. I'm just kidding. If you weren't here last week, I tricked all of the entire congregation into volunteering for the Queer Makers Market bake sale. But last week my announcement was a little rushed, so I just wanted to give a few more details. On the 13th, we have the Queer Makers Market. On the 14th of December, we have the Gift of Conscience Fair. I am organizing the bake sale, which will be a fundraiser for the congregation for the 13th, and then anything left gets rolled into the 14th. So asking anyone that would like to bake to please donate, and thank you to those that have already donated cash. I'm also accepting that because some people want something wrapped in plastic. They might not trust allergies or things baked at people's homes. So also donating cash would be helpful as well. So again, I'm gonna come around and pester all of you, but you already all volunteered, so that's not a problem.
All right, it's time for us now to bring our time of worship to a close. A little bit late, but I'm also hoping you're going to stay here until like 2:30. So before we extinguish our chalice flame, its light will continue to burn in our hearts. And as we go out into our daily lives, I leave you with the words of the Reverend Leah Derlin Jones. For those who came before us, we offer gratitude and thanks. May their memories be a blessing. May we feel surrounded by their love. As we go forth from this place and this time, let us be inspired by their courage, their wisdom, and their dreams. Let us honor them by doing the work of living boldly, loving mightily, and creating heaven on earth. Amen, and blessed be.